What is going on, everybody? You are tuning in to the Striven Entrepreneur Show. And if you are tuning in, this is the show where we focus on helping every other entrepreneur stay driven to consistently strive for success and building their businesses that they are deeply passionate about. Why? Because we've all been there. Entrepreneurship is a crazy emotional roller coaster of a journey. And so we want you to come along on this journey as we break it down and simplify the steps of success, share stories of adversity and how to overcome it, staying grounded and aligned with yourself and your business to build the brand that you want, to build the brand that brings you joy and value to others. Welcome. I am your host, Nick Rizzo, and this is episode number 1. The one thing that is every entrepreneur's enemy and how to fight it. All right. So before we get into that today, if you haven't heard about us yet, strivenlife.com, check it out. New blog post up there today on the power of habit pairing. Super useful, super easy to do. I use it personally to build my morning routine habits, and it's made every single day much more engaged, much more impactful and productive. If you're interested in reading, right? I know that's a hard sell right there. Do you like to read? If you're interested in reading the types of books that can help you be a better version of yourself, teach you new things, open your mind to new perspectives, and use those things to adapt and build yourself, you can go to strivenlife.com/Striven Library. On there, when you put in your email, I will send you the PDF with 52 books listed out because it is the 52 books a year challenge. And every Thursday, we're going to be going live and doing the Growing Through the Text Facebook Live show where we'll be breaking down each one of those books, sometimes with guests, sometimes with just my beautiful face. Hopefully, that doesn't deter you from coming if it's just me and this mug. But that's what's going down. And if you'd like to join a group that is filled with like-minded people who are focused on building success in all aspects of their life, you can check out the Striven Life Success Addicts, where our main focus is helping each other set goals, plan actions, and take action, and taking the things that we read and applying it to our lives to build a better us. All right. So, as I said, the one thing that is every entrepreneur's enemy and how to fight it, episode number 1. So, we all have, as entrepreneurs, a common enemy. All right, whether you're still in the starting stages of just kind of figuring out what you want to do as a business, or you have an idea and you're trying to learn how to put it into motion, or maybe you've already done all that. You have a site, you're making content, you love the content you're making, you feel like it has real value, but you're struggling with how do I get this out to more people? Or you've done that and you're already generating some sort of income and you're trying to get to that next level where you're having a salary that surpasses, maybe you had a job before and you left it to do this and you're trying to surpass that. We all have the same enemy, or at least one of them. And that enemy is the noise. Now, let me explain. The noise is essentially the culmination of all the information and videos and ads that we're being smacked with constantly from marketers or gurus that have these fancy new tech or software or plugins, success stories, or the typical Facebook ads we see, I made insert absurd amount of money here in 4 weeks, and this is the one secret tip and strategy you need to do it too. That's the noise. The thing that tells us that if we don't know this information, or if we don't know this strategy, or if we don't buy into this program, that we also cannot be successful. That's the noise. And that noise is filling our head constantly with types of self-doubt or, taking away our attention on what it should be on. You have your plan, you know what you want to get done, but then it brings it over here. Oh, I have to learn this first or else this will be for nothing. That's what the noise is. And it's not the marketer's fault. It's not the guru's fault. right? Because they're doing their job. They have something of value that they believe in, and they're trying to bring it to us. But when you're in this market and you're into entrepreneurship, you are being smashed with information constantly. You know, I don't think I've ever even clicked on Ty Lopez's site once, but I get an ad every time I'm on YouTube. And I think we all know that feeling, right? So why is the noise the enemy? You know, and I kind of just explained a little bit about that, you know, that feeling it gives you. But at the same time, too, it makes you feel almost inadequate, where it's telling you constantly that you need this or this or this to succeed, because we don't have that in ourselves to succeed. At least that's what my experiences were. You know, before Striven Life, I had a different company. And I remember I had it for about a year. It was kind of passed down to me. And I was working on it pretty intensely for about 4 months. And it revolved around e-commerce and selling product, but I was also making content. So about 4 months of really dedicated putting in time to this. You know, during the day, I was a teacher. So I'm working my usual 8 to 3 hours, and then after school with students for an hour or two, coming home and putting in hours. And I was, you know, every day, 2 or 3 hours a day, nonstop. I did this for about 4 months, and I had absolutely nothing to show for it. I made no progress. Why? Because I was so tuned into the noise. I was listening to everything that was coming my way, every new strategy or every new guru or software that was promising to make this all easier, to make success just come your way. And this is where shiny object syndrome kicks in. You know, I'm sure you've probably heard of this, but you know, you see a new fancy thing over here. Oh, that looks nice. What's that about, right? And you go and you check it out. And there's a rabbit hole. You start digging and learning and learning and learning and reading this blog and watching a video from this person, and all of it relates back to this one shiny object you saw. And it takes you so far off track. And it makes it so much difficult just to stay on task, to stay taking action on a plan that you set for yourself. We allow these things to get in the way. Now, at the same time, too, it's a matter of we start to doubt ourselves because we're not successful yet. You know, we don't view ourselves as successful, even though we probably came a pretty far way to get to where we are right now. At the same time, we see these gurus and they're successful. They're making money. You know, they have followers. They have a big brand. You see them everywhere. And so that comparison that we're always doing, where we're looking at them and seeing where we're at, can kind of have a very big impact on your mindset and your emotions towards whether you have what it takes to do this, which you do. And so that's where this next story I'm going to share kind of set the tone for where the noise and I officially broke up, right? It was a hard breakup, changed the relationship status and everything. So this story revolves around a guy named Ezra Firestone. Now, this is not going to be anything negative about Ezra Firestone, so hopefully I don't get any haters because of it. But the thing was, I had just spent the past 2 months learning a bunch about using Amazon and how to build a listing and build up your ranking and all this stuff. And then as I went to go list my product, I was told by Amazon that I wasn't going to be able to. They weren't accepting any more listings in that category. But then they said, you could list it in this category, but that's going to cost you $3,000, money that I didn't have. So again, the shiny object that I was focusing and fixated on so much was now taken from me. And I spent 2 or 3 months really digging deep into learning everything I could about it. And so I needed a fresh start. And so I started looking up different ways to build your e-commerce business. And I fell upon Ezra Firestone. And I mean, the man has done amazing things with his businesses. He knows the ins and outs of Facebook ads like no one would believe. And he produces great content. And so I remember I was taking some of the courses he has on his site. They were free, checking out his podcast, really digging into all of it. And then there was a webinar. And it was about targeting your audience and retargeting audiences on Facebook and how to build a funnel and all this other stuff that, this is it. This is the secret to my success. So I'm watching the webinar and it gets to the end and I'm thinking this is going to be something we're all going to have access to. And what happens? They tell me that it's going to cost $2,000 in order to join. Yet another money barrier for me. In all honesty, I hit a real low because I truly believed that if I could just get $2,000, if I could afford this, I'm going to be a huge success. And it was at that point in time where I started reflecting on my line of thought. How does that even make sense? So I just give him $2,000 and I take his courses and everything magically goes perfect? Of course not. That's clearly not how it works. My rational mind started fighting with my emotional mind. And I started to realize that I need to stop. 4 months, I had nothing to show for it. And I looked back at what I had actually accomplished. And all I accomplished was a bunch of Google Docs that had tons of notes and links to videos and guides and all of that. And I've gotten nowhere. So on that day, I said, enough is enough. I need to find a way for me that works to cancel out this noise, to be able to focus on the actions that I need to take and get away from all these feelings of being overwhelmed by information, having no real direction and where to go with my business and what I should be doing and why. I was completely lost. So I decided to say, I'm done. I'm going to fight back. So how do we fight this noise that is constantly in our faces? The first thing is an emotional mindset part. You need to have some self-belief, right? You need to realize that you are capable of doing this, that you are capable of taking your passions or your skill set and putting them into a business or brand and building that and bringing values to others, right? You have that ability. There is no difference between you and that person who's 2 years ahead of you in their business, who's making a really solid income. The only difference is time, effort, dedication, and creativity. All things that you have the same exact amount and ability to produce as the person who's successful. Okay? With that, you can build a brand and you can build a business. So realize how far you've come already and realize that it's just now about taking the next steps and then you got this. Okay? So once you have a little bit of self-belief, just enough to start pushing yourself forward and saying, I can do this, we can move forward. Next, we need to tune out of the noise. Now, maybe that's easier said than done. Okay, you didn't have a hard breakup to set you on this path. But it's as simple as saying, let me take all the information I have so far, everything I know about entrepreneurship and businesses and brand visibility and social media, and let me just start with that. Let me take what I know and write it down into a plan. What do you want to produce? What is your product? What are you going to be selling? Are you going to be making content? Is that content going to be in a blog or a video or a podcast? What is that content going to be about? Who are you targeting? What is your niche? How are you going to get that content to them? Right? All these questions are things that we can answer to some degree without having to go and do more research. You have that ability. So take all of that, write it down, build a little plan. Okay? And with that, just tell yourself that I am not going to access this noise. I'm not going to engage with this noise for right now. And I'm just going to take action on what I know. One, because taking action is the best way to learn. You go, you do something, and based upon how it turns out or what you think of it or what the feedback is, you adapt it and you evolve it and you make it better. From there, it's all about knowing when to tune in to the noise. And I get it. We already left it. We already broke up. We're not going back to our ex, though. Trust me. We're not going to, let all of this just come pouring out at us at once. And so here's the deal. You have your plan already. You're working, you're taking action, and you're moving forward this plan. Knowing when to tune into the noise is the key. Because when you hit a roadblock, or you want to do something new in your business, or you want to take something to the next level, you want to improve upon something, or let's say you want to do a product launch, right? And you've never done a product launch before. Okay, well, that's probably a good time for you to tune into the noise. But don't open yourself up to everything. You want to go out and find specifically information only pertaining to doing product launches and doing your first product launch, and tips and tricks on how to make it the best way possible. So set aside a period of time where you're only going to focus on that. Take that time. Could be a day, 2 days, 3 days, where you set an hour or two aside. Or if you're like me and you like to do 6 to 8 hour marathons of learning because you just get so all giddy about it, then do that too. Take all that stuff. Maybe you take notes. I like to take notes on everything I do. And then go back to the drawing board. Okay? You take that information, you look at your plan, and you say, okay, how can I integrate this new information into what I'm doing to improve, to evolve, to better serve my customers and audience, to bring more value? Then you tune back out. Okay? And that's the biggest aspect of this. Only accessing the noise when you have a question to ask, when you need specific information, or if something is happening that you don't know how to overcome and you need to go and get that information and help. Now, at the same time, I realize that a lot of us are a part of communities, and we're constantly engaging with other people and learning about new things passively. And it sparks your interest. Maybe someone shows a video about a strategy someone used. Like I know someone posted one the other day in a group of men about how one person repurposed a single piece of content into 99 pieces of content, which is insane. And I was like, well, yeah, I want to know a little bit about that. But here's the trick. You are not allowed to go digging right into that rabbit hole. What you do is you make a Google Doc or a bookmarks bar. I like to use a Google Docs for everything. And what you do is you take the link to that video or that article or that blog post or that guide, and you put it in there into your Google Doc, and you write a little note to yourself. Why was this so important that you felt the need to save it? What does it have to do with? How do you think it's going to benefit your company? Then you stop and you say, okay, do I need this now? Do I need this information right now? Or is there other things I need to be focusing on? If it is something that you need to learn at that point in time, schedule a set time where you allow yourself to engage with that noise. It helps so much. You have no idea, right? So, I went within 2 months from going from a place where I felt I was utterly lost. I lost all passion and joy for working with the business that I had. Completely overwhelmed with all the information, and I had no set plan, and I just said stop, and I started doing these exact 4 things. Now, every day that I wake up, I know exactly what I want to work on. I know why I want to work on it. I know how it's going to impact my business. I know how it connects to everything else that I want to do, because I laid out my own plan with the information that I already have, and then I improve it as needed. This is a learning on a as needed basis. Okay, and that's the thing, is you build this document up with all these links to articles or videos or things that you think you need or that will be helpful in the future, and you have to set aside time to access that noise. Don't just open the floodgates and let it all come pouring down on you, because then you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to be wasting time. And where time is one of those things that we need as entrepreneurs to really build a brand, to put in the effort, the dedication and creativity, as something we can't afford to waste. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Again, if you are interested in joining a group of people who are success addicts, as we are calling ourselves, who just want to engage more in life. They want to have more joy, achieve their goals, be more successful in all aspects of life. You can look up Striven Life Success Addicts on Facebook. If you want to challenge yourself to, a year-long commitment and read 52 books a year, and these are all books that I've personally spent hours researching and putting together this list of books to help us evolve and grow in such a wide variety of areas in life. You can go to strivenlife.com/Striven Library. And on there, you can subscribe. You'll get the email with the PDF in there that shows you all the books in order, as well as the goals of how many pages to read a day in order to stay on track. I've organized the books that way the biggest books are followed up by the smallest books. That way, in case you have a 700-page book for a week, that might be tough to do. So it can kind of give you a couple days buffer there. And if you're doing that and you're reading along, join us on Thursdays, where we are going to be breaking down those books on the Growing Through the Text Facebook Live show. This has been me, Nick Rizzo, strivenlife.com. I'll see you guys later.